ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you what. Mitchell Robinson's contract is growing bigger and bigger and bigger by the game. You can count on that, ladies and gentlemen. The rebounding by this team right now is atrocious. Nerlens Noel just doesn't have the body to be able to be a rebounder. He's a great shot blocker, but doesn't have the body to be a rebounder. Julius Randle looks like he's running on fumes down there battling. Tough loss for the Knicks tonight. This is a bad one. Wow, they competed and they went right there to win the game. When you look at the overall state of the Eastern Conference, this is a bad loss. They had a chance tonight versus the Boston Celtics, ladies and gentlemen, to win the season series, win the tiebreaker, go back to 500, claim hold of the 7th seed. They do none of that. None of that. Instead, the season series is tied. They fall 2 games below 500. They're now in the 8th seed all by themselves. What can you say, ladies and gentlemen? Bad loss. I don't want to say bad loss because it was a close game, but it's still we had another lead. So many themes that continue to happen with this team, game after game after game. You have a lead, and you can't hold the lead. Fourth quarter execution. The rebounding battles. Untimely turnovers. I mean, a turnover is never timely. Ever. It's never timely. But for some reason, we turn the ball over at the worst possible times. The worst possible time. The New York Knicks came out and they battled with the Boston Celtics tonight, ladies and gentlemen. They lost 101-99 in a tough game down the stretch at the TD Garden. But there's so many things that happened during this game. The Knicks came out, they had like a 10-6 lead. Then they let Boston go on a little bit of a run. They end the first quarter 21-19. Boston is leading. In the second quarter, the Celtics take, I don't know, what did they take, about an 8-point lead? The Knicks battle back. They're not rebounding well. They're letting a lot of no-name dudes just rebound the basketball. The Knicks aren't having live bodies right now. The bodies aren't live. I mean, they're living, but they're not live. And that's killing us right now because these other teams are coming in with live bodies all over the place. Jumping and fighting and scraping and scrapping for the basketball. And we're stuck not being able to grab rebounds because our bodies are just not live. Somehow, some way, we scrap and scrape our way back to almost being able to take the lead just before halftime. Julius Randle dribbles the ball off of his leg or whatever happens, and he reclaims the ball, pulls it up just before the half from 3, misses it. The Knicks go into the half down 1. And I was okay because they did not shoot well. They didn't rebound well. They didn't play a good game. They went to the half only down 1. I was okay with that. They come out in the third quarter, ladies and gentlemen. The game is going back and forth. The Knicks take a lead. The Celtics take a lead. One time, the Knicks jumped out. They took a 7-point lead. The Celtics called a timeout, came out, scored 8 straight points, took a 1-point lead. The game continued to flip-flop back and forth. The Knicks take a 3-point lead into the fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter, the Knicks build a 7-point lead in the fourth quarter, but they can't hold it. And then down the stretch of the game, once again, the rebounding issue rears its ugly head. They start to grab some offensive rebounds. We start to have those untimely turnovers. Not blaming RJ Barrett, but, he dribbled the ball off his foot out of bounds, but he came back, knocked down a 3 to tie the game. So RJ Barrett ties the game. We come back. We're playing good defense, decent defense. And Reggie Bullock decides to double team on Jason Tatum out on the perimeter. He leaves Marcus Smart wide open. And there's actually 2 mistakes on that play. The first one starts with Reggie Bullock. The second one starts with RJ Barrett. Or the second one ends with RJ Barrett. Let me say that. Right? Reggie Bullock leaves his man to go double team. Just leaves his man without anybody else there. And I understand, I guess the scheme is if you go to trap up top, the other defender over in the wing has to come up and guard that guy. So Reggie Bullock, he goes to trap. And RJ Barrett, he starts to go trap, but then he stops. He doesn't go, not the trap. He starts to go to guard Marcus Smart, and he stops. Goes back to his man. Marcus Smart pulls the 3. I understand what he was thinking. I'm going to jab my foot back here, and then if he passes back to my man, I'm going to be back to my man. But Marcus Smart was ready to shoot the basketball. You got to go defend that, make him have to make the extra pass, and everybody rotate. Instead, Marcus Smart knocks down the 3, and, you can kind of put it in the books from there, ladies and gentlemen. You can put it in the books from there. Tough game. And I know the Knicks they're not going to be able to live this one down because this is a game that when you look at the way the Knicks had it, we're saying that with every single game that the Knicks had it. They had it. They could have won it. They should have won it. They should have beat this team. We're saying that every time because they have a lead down the stretch. Can't get over the hump. For the Boston Celtics tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Jaylen Brown, he had 32 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 assists. Played a great game. Shot 46% from the field, 38.5% from 3. He also had 2 steals and 1 block. Jason Tatum, he had 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. He had 1 steal on the night. Jason Tatum also had 8 turnovers. He shot 47% from the field, 33% from 3. He had Robert Williams III. He grabbed 10 rebounds. Even Romeo Langford had 6 rebounds. Marcus Smart had 17 rebounds and 9 assists. Plus, he hit that big 3-point shot that really kind of killed it for the Knicks. Grant Williams, he didn't do much. Tristan Thompson, he had 8 rebounds, 7 points. As a team, the Boston Celtics had 16 offensive rebounds, 13 in the first half. The Knicks did much better. They did much better in the second half, but then there were timely offensive rebounds that they gave up. And you can't do it. You can't do it. You got to take care. You got to take care of it, ladies and gentlemen. As for the New York Knicks, and we're going to get to our panel in just a second. As for the New York Knicks, Julius Randle, he had 22 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists. He did not shoot well from the field, just 39%. He didn't shoot well from 3. He was 33%. He had 3 turnovers on tonight. And I could see early in the game that Julius Randle was going to struggle tonight. I could see it. His shot was off. Boston was playing physical. RJ Barrett had 29 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists. He was 10 for 14 from the field. He was 6 for 6 from the 3-point line. He played a good game. Despite that 1 turnover, he played a good game. And look, that 1 turnover didn't lose us the game because we ended up tying the game. He ended up tying the game after that. So that turnover didn't lose us the game. It's just a representation of how we struggle to execute down the stretch. But that turnover didn't, we had the lead after that. Oh, I'm sorry, we tied the game after that. Derrick Rose had 11 points, 3 assists. Elfrid Payton had 8 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds. Alec Burks had 8 rebounds. He helped us out on the glass tonight. 8 points for Alec Burks. But Alec Burks, for a while, he was playing good basketball. Now he's dropped back. Reggie Bullock, it's kind of dropped back too. Reggie Bullock tonight, 2 for 7 from the 3-point line. 6 points. It's a tough one. Steph, I know it's bitter. It's a bitter basketball game. Bitter basketball game tonight, man. I don't know. What's your take on tonight's game?
Yeah, like I said, Sim, in the pregame, these teams coming up, we're not blowing any of them out. It's going to come down to the last minutes of the game, down to the stretch, and it's going to depend on who's playing the best, and we're not. Burke, Bullock, Elford, IQ, even D Rose not getting a lot of help on the offensive end. Randle, I think he had 20-something points, but he didn't shoot well. They killed us on the glass, especially in the first half with the second chance points. I don't know what it ended up being. Maybe we did better in the second half, but I know with 7 minutes left in the first half, it was already. I think they had 11 offensive rebounds or something like that.
13. They had 13 offensive rebounds in the first half.
Wow, exactly. And this is how the games are going to be unless we just get blown out. Like, we're not going to blow teams out. This is how it's going to be coming down the stretch, us being able to execute. It's just a difference between them making a shot and we making a shot. The difference between they getting a key rebound and we getting a key rebound. And we just need everybody to show up. And we need Randle, to me, doesn't look the same. I don't know if it's since the All-Star break, maybe since the contusion, but I'm interested to see, and I'll look it up, what his shooting percentage has been before the All-Star break and after, or starting with that injury. Because even though he's ending up with 20-something points, he's just not efficient. The shots he's taken, it's just not the same. Not the same Randle. I'm not giving up on him. Obviously, we need him. He's still our best player, and he still, plays hard. He's in the game. He's rebounding. He's passing. He's doing the playmaking. I just need him to be a bit more sharper offensively. I know I'm asking a lot because he's been doing everything for us. And I'm just curious that D Rose didn't get a lot of time in the second half, or at least down the stretch. It probably had a lot to do with defense, though.
Yeah, I mean, he played. I think D Rose played. He played all the way down to about 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
And then he brought Elfrid Payton in the game. As far as with Julius Randle, I think Alan Howe was talking about it in the post game, and he's shooting like 42% or something like that since that leg contusion, shooting like 40 something, below his average percentage wise since that, since his leg, and from three, I think he's somewhere around. I think he said like 32 or 33% or something like that from three. So he's not he's not shooting well, and one of the things that I see teams doing with Randle that I think is causing him problems is they're taking smaller guards, right, like a Marcus Smart, small guys, and defending Randle with those small guys. And you would think that Randle could just power them over and this and that. But it's just not that easy. And the paint is still kind of crowded, so they got a small guy on them. They're still kind of stepping back and crowding the paint just a little bit. And then Randle is having to try to figure out, how do I get a shot off, or how do I make a move without knocking this guy over and creating an offensive foul? And I think that's something that's giving Randle a little bit of trouble. You see Marcus Smart several times play defense on him. I forgot the name of the other guy that was D'ing him up. Light-skinned guy. I can't think of his name.
Williams. Williams. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Williams.
Yeah.
Right. Grant Williams.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna push Marcus Smart. That's the problem. You're not gonna push him.
Did you see in the first quarter, Randle took a turnaround fatal, falling out of bounds in the first quarter. I'm like, if those are the shots you're going to be taking, it's a wrap.
Yeah. So I think that move that a lot of teams are doing with Randle is causing them some trouble right now. I think that's part of it as well. He's having trouble with those smaller guys on him and not wanting to pick up that offensive foul, but also still trying to make a move, and then teams are still crowding the paint. So I think, that's a little bit of an issue right now with Julius Randle. But, there are a lot of things going on with the team, and all of the, from rebounding to fourth quarter execution to holding leads to, making turnovers at bad times, bad points in the game. All of these things are happening. And I'm going to tell you, one of the things that I get afraid of is we talked about this before. All of these close games, and they can't pull them out. Does it start to wear on them mentally, where now every game they're figuring, okay, how are we going to lose this one? How are we going to find a way to lose this one instead of how are we going to find a way to win this one?
I totally agree, Sam. Totally agree. Totally agree. That's something that I think is good. I don't know how Tom Thibodeau is going to deal with that with the guys, but I could see that thought process. I'm not saying I can see it now, but I can understand how that thought process can start to creep in. They've got to pull one of these wins out. They really do. They got to pull one of these games out, one of these close games down the stretch. And this is the next evolution and development of this team. How do we win these close games down the stretch? I remember early in the season when we were winning some games, we were winning and losing in games, but this was early, and it ended up being double-digit leads. We were either winning by double digits or losing by double digits. And the question I had then was, how are we going to react when, what are we going to do when it's tight games? Are we going to be able to pull them out? Now we're seeing tight games every game, and we're struggling to pull these games out. And we got to figure out how to do it. And you can go down the line, Sim. I would say the two games that we had against Philly and the two games we had against the Nets. I don't know if I'm going to throw in. I'm not going to throw Dallas in there, but even so, you could say Minnesota, and now this one. Now this one. Yeah. And
yep.
Oh, the Heat. Yeah, I forgot the Heat. Well, all three.
Well, so far, every game that we've lost in the second half of the season has been a tight game down the stretch, and we haven't been able to pull it out.
Yes. I didn't know if I wanted to say the last Miami game, because they did beat us by 10, but it was like, they was in the fourth quarter, they were kind of having their way a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, they did, but we had a 13-point lead in that game.
We did.
Right. Another game where we had a lead. We had a 13-point lead.
Hey,
and,
Sim.
And the thing is, this team right now for this season, there's 20 games left. This team has to figure it out. We can't. I know people are going to say Randle's not it. We don't have, a point guard. We don't have this. We don't have that. But this team, all of that doesn't mean anything for right now.
Exactly.
If Randle is the guy or not, it means nothing. It means nothing for these next 20 games. If we don't have, a legitimate point guard, it means nothing for these last 20 games. The only thing that matters is who we have on the team right now. Right. And we got to figure out, how do we win with who we have on the team right now? How do we get over this hump right now?
Well, Sam, the thing about it is we have to find out why are we getting out rebounded so much? I mean, does the presence of Mitch really put a void in us that we can't, rebound the ball? I mean, they had like 8 for tonight. The Celtics had like 18 second chance points against against us. I mean,
they had 18 offensive rebound or 16 offensive rebounds,
right?
And I think 18 second chance points. You know, I do think that obviously, you know, not having Mitchell Robinson is part of the issue. We know that. That's clear because Nerlens Noel just doesn't have the body. He just can't. He just doesn't have the lower body strength to be able to box people out, get people out the way. He gets moved. He gets pushed around. So we don't have that. We don't have that beef down there. That's the reason why Tony was calling so hard for Andre Drummond, because we don't have that beef down there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And RJ's rebounds are down as well. He's on my fantasy team. His rebounds is down from 6-7 to like 2, 3, 4. You know, every little bit counts.
Right. You know, so we got to figure out how we're going to rebound, and this is something that the coaching staff has got to figure out. How are we going to rebound? You know, it's got to be a gang rebound. Right, they've got a gang rebound. You know, from every position on the floor has got to touch the paint and try to rebound when we're on the defensive end and stop opposing teams from offensive rebounding. You know, we got to go back to basics on it. When someone shoots a three, you got to anticipate there's going to be a long rebound. Box out. Guards got to be hovering around the top of the key, hovering around the foul line to the top of the key when someone shoots a 3-point shot, because there's a good chance there's going to be a long rebound. When you shoot a three, there's going to be long rebounds. You know what I'm saying?
There was no reason for Marcus Smart to get that rebound. That putback. There was no reason. You had to box him out right there. You had to.
Right. So, like, I mean, but that's one thing. I see a lot of times where opposing teams are getting long rebounds. The ball is bouncing out to the free throw line. They're grabbing it because we don't have somebody there. Inside, we just got to put a body on people. Like I said earlier, they got live bodies going to the rim, and we're not live going to the rim. We're stagnant. They got guys who are jumping, guys who want the basketball more, and, you know, we're kind of there, not putting a body on anybody, not boxing anybody out. We got to go back to the little things. Let me get to Tony. Okay, Tony, what's going on, man?
What's going on, Sim? Shout out to the chat. Bill Black is time. I didn't even realize we was live, man. I thought we were still backstage. Peace, Queen. Man, tough loss, man. It sucks because it's just a continuation of like you said, what we've been seeing. And it's still those little things that are killing us. I'm not really that discouraged because it is fixable things. I mean, the turnovers again and those second chance points. And they seem to always be crucial. It's not even like they're coming back to bite us. It's just they seem to always be at crucial moments of the game. Our defense is there. We're just not finishing with that rebound.
Right.
Encouraging things. RJ looks like, you know, his shot is back on point. He had a big 3 down the stretch after a big turnover, which was great. But it's just these final possessions, man. We're right there. We're right there. I'm not that discouraged because I feel like if we fix those two things and maybe free throw shooting as of late, I think we could win these games. So I mean, I'm not that discouraged, but I do, you know, this is a crucial moment, man. We could be in the play-in or we could avoid it.
Right.
And it's gonna boil down to these last 20.
Yep.
Tony, do you think it's an effort thing?
No, not at all. The effort's there. You can see the effort. You can see the effort. It's not a lack of effort. It's mental mistakes is what it is. It's like Sim been saying that, you know, and you know, I've been saying it too. They're not used to these situations.
It's pressure.
I mean, and it's kind of double-edged. Like they're used to the situations, but they're not used to the situations with the pressure, with the added pressure.
I mean, argument can be made. The only one on the team that's probably used to the pressure moments is Rose. All the rest of the guys, I mean, and maybe Randle, but all the rest of the guys, I don't think they've ever, in the NBA at least, they've been in those moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, not many on the team. Eddie?
Noel, maybe.
Yeah, Noel a little bit.
Maybe.
Yeah. Eddie, what's your take, man? What's your take?
I have a couple of points that I want to make today. I liked what Kevin just said. That maybe Rose is the only one that can alleviate some of that pressure in the late game moments. That he's been there. He probably was a little bit tired today. That's why they took him out. One thing I did like was that Thibodeau said something to him, and told him that he did something wrong. So, and I know he's been doing it the whole year. He doesn't play favorites. Right. So to me, that's a good thing. He'll do it to anybody. He'll do it to Julius. He did it to RJ at the beginning of the year. He just holds people accountable, and I like that from my coach. Again, 2 points that I'm going to point out. One I don't like as much to talk about, but I'm going to bring it up anyway because I think it's important that we talk about it. The second point I'm going to start off with is I sense that there was a change in the momentum of the game when Marcus Smart went to the free throw line and started barking at Noel. And, he just basically punked him and, just took his heart from him and said, yo, you set that screen again, I'm going to go over it and this and that. And then he cursed at him, and that's something that I see relaxed.
Didn't know that. Okay. Didn't know that. I didn't know that was him he was talking to. Wow. All right.
Yeah, it was Noel. He was the one setting the screens. I know Julius Randle is not a punk, but he does it in like a sort of different kind of way than Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart is like more intimidating. You know what I mean? And I think that played a part in the momentum and, just not being mentally strong and being able to withstand somebody who's intimidating you. And I think that's important. You know what I'm saying? We don't have that type of player in our team. Like I said, Julius Randle, he's tough. He doesn't back down from anybody, but it's a different type of toughness that Marcus Smart has. Mm-hmm. And I think we're missing that. I think we're missing that greatly on our team. And the second point, again, I really don't want to point this out, but I think it's important that we talk about it. Have you guys seen when Tom Thibodeau's on the sideline, the way his hand moves? It's kind of like a nervous type of deal, like a nervous tick that he has. I don't know if that is something medical. It could be something due to age, but it's to me it's not good overall for his health, and I think it can hinder him when he makes certain decisions. Because I'm gonna put it to you like this: like my father had Parkinson's before he passed away, and he was doing that sort of type of stuff when he was sick. You know what I'm saying? And I just wanted to bring it out to you guys to see if you guys were witnessing that, we're seeing that, and what you guys think about that situation. Because I just think it's not a basketball thing, but I think it's an overall humanity thing, and I just want to bring it up and talk about it, since he's our coach and, he's an important part of our team.
Yeah. It's not something that I've seen, but it's something that I'm going to watch for now, when I'm looking at the games to kind of see what you're talking about. You never know. Some people, when they get anxious, they have certain tells, right, that let you know that they're anxious, and it could be that, or maybe it could be something a little bit more. It's, but it's definitely something to take a look at and watch for as we're watching the games. So I'll definitely pay attention to that in further games.
I mean, listen, even without that, just see we up 20. He acting like we down 20. He calling timeouts, well, back when we had that type of lead, he would call timeouts, he would challenge calls. He's just in it from beginning to end. So even if he doesn't have anything going on medically, he can create medical problems just by how much he's stressing himself out, even when we're up. So I don't know. I haven't noticed the other part, but I'll
that's something that I definitely take a look at and see, just pay attention to it. What are we gonna do about and I know I keep coming back to it, just because we got smacked so bad on the boards tonight. It wasn't something that was pretty on the boards, and it was frustrating me. Really frustrating me tonight.
With all night. Tristan Thompson was in our grill all night.
It was just really frustrating me the way we got smacked on the boards tonight. If you take a look at the numbers, of course we lost 101-99. We got beat 61-47 on the boards. All right, and this is a team who starts a 6'8" center. Now I know that Nerlens Noel 6'10", but and he doesn't have a big body, but we got to find a way to do something. We've got to do something. We got to figure that out, because that's going to be a key to all of these games winning down the stretch. And like I said before, I've seen people who I've seen posts and articles that say, is rebounding still important? Well, talk to the Knicks. They'll let you know. 22 assists for both teams, 7 steals for the Knicks, 6 for the Boston Celtics, 4 blocks for the Knicks, 7 for the Celtics. The Knicks had 14 turnovers. The Celtics had 17. The Knicks only shot 41.7% from the field. The Celtics shot 41.9% from the field. The Knicks shot 48.5% from 3, 37% for the Celtics. The Knicks shot 81% from the free throw line, while the Celtics shot 79% from the free throw line. In the paint, the Boston Celtics won the battle in the paint, 42-32. Second chance points. The Celtics had 20 second chance points tonight. 20 second chance points. The Knicks had 7. Both teams scored 14 points on the break. I don't know. The Knicks shot tonight 33. They shot 33 3-point bat attempts. They made 16 of them. The Celtics shot 43 point attempts. They made 15 of them. The Knicks are beginning to shoot more threes, and I think it is by design that they're beginning to shoot more threes and even shoot them faster, because they're trying to score more.
RJ Barrett was efficient from 3.
He was efficient from 3, but even with us shooting more threes, it's not equating to more points. Right? Again, we could try a lot of different things. What we need just isn't on this team right now. So they've got to figure out how to do it with who we have on this team. And yes, that is a very difficult task. Very difficult task right now. And somebody said, asked me, was I blind? Okay, they shot 70%. My bad. It don't matter. They still won the game. So, whatever. You worried about the wrong thing, my brother, if that's what you worried about. I'm saying, if that's what you worried about the wrong thing. And although the Knicks shot 81.3% from the free throw line, they only took 16 tonight, 13 for 16. The Celtics were 14 for 20. 14 for 20 tonight. Do you think, first of all, John Henson already was injured, already on the injury list? I don't know how that happens. You know what I'm saying? Already on the injury list. Hasn't touched the floor yet this season. Already on the injury list. Okay, so we're not going to rely on him. After a couple of practices, do you think Tom Thibodeau starts to look towards Pell?
Yeah.
Steph, I'll start with you. Do you think he maybe looks towards Pell to help us out?
I would. I would. And Sam, I don't even know what happened to the rebound, because Mitch was out before, and I don't remember us being this bad with him out the first 15 games or whatever. So I'm not sure what is going on, but rebounding wise, we look terrible. So I really hope he does look to him. Now, I haven't seen him enough. I know he's a good shot blocker. I'm not quite sure about the rebounding, but it can't be any worse than what it is right now. We're giving up too many second shots, and they're turning into points. It's not even empty second shots where they're missing. They're turning into points.
They're turning into points. Exactly.
Yeah, so
exactly.
I hope so.
I mean, the thing about it, he's bigger than. I'm not saying he's going to start, but he may be able to provide something in a little bit of help. He's bigger than both Taj and Nerlens Noel. He's just got more size. He's taller than both of them. He's got more size, so better chance for him to rebound the basketball, and he can block shots, so he's not going to give up anything. Well, I don't want to say he's not going to give up anything on the defensive end, because it's still possible that some of the things that Noel does by being able to go out and guard on the perimeter a little bit. We don't know if Noel can do those things, but Tom Thibodeau's got to try something. Tony?
Yes.
One thing I'm worried about is Thibs actually not giving him time.
Yeah.
And using him more as an insurance policy. I hope he does. I honestly was looking for him to get put in early when Taj picked up his second foul after Noel was already on the bench with 2. And I think that was still in the first quarter. Yeah, that was still in the first quarter. And he didn't even, he didn't budge. He stuck with Taj. So that does concern me. But I think he should. Again, that gives Taj the opportunity to move to the 4 and give Randle more of a rest when Obi's not playing well. So I hope so. I really do. And maybe he looks that way. Maybe he starts going into his old ways as far as like, hey, this guy is more of a vet, I guess, than Obi, and looks that way. But that's big. That's big because the second chance points, sometimes it's not even, well, I mean, it's considered a rebound, but sometimes it's off a block. You know what I mean? Mitch had a tendency to block balls out of bounds, which I don't like either, but I rather out of bounds than it just being a loose ball if you're not coming up with it. Noel's tends to block the ball and it ends up going back to them with
then they're on the break.
They on a better they have a better opportunity than the original shot. So hopefully this guy he knows how to block balls and contain them or block them to his teammate. But yeah, we got to do something, man. The offensive rebounds again, they're killing us.
Yeah,
those second chance points are really killing us.
Yeah. I am encouraged with RJ's 3-point shooting, though. Right? I'm encouraged with his 3-point shooting, 6 for 6 tonight. I'm also encouraged with his ability to bounce back after he turned the ball over and then come back and knock down a big 3 to tie the game up. So I'm encouraged there. Right. 29 points. I think his career high is 32. So just 3 points off of his career high. He showed up tonight. I would have liked to have seen him, maybe get some assists or something like that. He hasn't really been getting those, but that's the way our assists are low anyway, right? And that's the way that things have been going because we're playing teams that are just playing this scrappy, tough defense. You know what I'm saying? But he's been playing well. He's been shooting well. I like, he's getting to that foul line off the dribble and pulling up at the foul line. He's knocking that down. That shot is looking good. But again, now, if Julius Randle might be playing, RJ Barrett might be playing great right now or playing really, really good. But Julius Randle, his shooting is dipped. And what I'm not liking that I'm seeing is there are moments when, he's not taking good shots. Right?
You're talking about Randle, right?
Randle, he that post up where he was coming through, getting the bump and getting the and one. He's not getting that anymore. right? That was, early in the season, that was a big part of his scoring. He would get that bump and make it, or just go to the free throw line. He's not getting that bump anymore. As I said earlier, they're having teams are having smaller guards stay on him sometimes, and that's, bothering him just a little bit. Another reason why that bothers not just him, but it bothers the team, because some of these smaller guards are able to defend him. Now you have longer defenders who can play the passing lanes. So if you have Marcus Smart defending Julius Randle in the post, you got Jaylen Brown, you got Jason Tatum, and whoever else is on the floor who are, 6'6" and above playing the passing lanes. Now it's even tougher for Julius Randle to get a pass out to Reggie Bullock or RJ Barrett.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. And they had Brown on him at one point also in the beginning of the game.
Exactly. So playing those, the ability, we seen Kyrie Irving defending Julius Randle in the post a few times. Right now,
you got to make them pay.
You got to make them pay, and he's having trouble making them pay when they're defending him. Right. When those small guys are defending him, and a lot of it is, I think, he's afraid to pick up that offensive foul.
Yeah. Well, the thing about
and I'm afraid, just like the Queen was saying earlier, that we might be relying on too much from him, because do we need him to pull down 14, 15 rebounds a night? Like we know he's capable of, but do we need that every night? You know what I mean? And if that's the case, how much of his scoring is gonna sacrifice?
Right.
Now, if his scoring goes down, but it's efficient, and he's focusing on the rebounding and other things, then maybe that works. He can't do that and be inefficient.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And if his scoring goes down, but he's efficient, but he's also finding people open, that's okay. But like you said, he can't do that and be inefficient. I thought, and there's going to be a lot of people that are probably surprised, right, that I say this. Yeah, but like I say, I'm just objective about the players on my team. I have no, favorites like that. But I thought in the first half, Elfrid Payton played terribly. Right? I mean, right off the bat, he turned the ball over trying to force it to Randle, right? And we get a backcourt. I thought that Tom Thibodeau was going to go, and I thought he should have went to Derrick Rose in the second half and started off the second half with Derrick Rose. Turned out to be wrong. I did, because Elfrid Payton came out in the beginning of the second half and played well. A couple of buckets, knocked down a three. But he played terribly in the first half. Luckily, Boston wasn't scoring, right? So we were able to, we were able to stay close, And I thought right there, I said, well, if Tom Thibodeau does go with Derrick Rose in the second half, and I was watching to see if he did, he didn't. Right, he went with Elfrid Payton. But if he went with Derrick Rose in the second half, to begin the second half, I thought that could have been the changing of the guard right there. But he didn't. So, it looks like it's going to stay status quo, come down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Derrick Rose, don't know if he was tiring out or Tom Thibodeau just wanted Elfrid Payton for defensive purposes or whatever. But he brings Elfrid Payton back in with about 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And Derrick Rose, goes out and goes to the bench. And pretty much, I thought this was the time if Tom Thibodeau, because I know a lot of people figure that Tom Thibodeau brought Derrick Rose in for that reason. I kind of feel like if there was a time to do it, this would have been the time to do it. Elfrid Payton just wasn't playing good, and it was an easy way to say, hey, I can change, we can switch the guard. So right now, there's going to be a change in the guard. You can look at it now. You can, pretty much put it in your hat that it's probably not happening. We've got 20 games left to the season. You know what I'm saying? And Elfrid Payton came in when he did come in, and he came in and gave us some good minutes. So, he played good in the second half, and then he played okay with those last 3 minutes of the game. Hit down, knocked down. He surprised me when he took that three. I guess he had to, but he knocked it down. right? Knocked it down. I don't know, but we got Memphis coming up next. All right, at home. So now we start, listen, we begin this last homestand, not last home. We begin this next homestand with Memphis at home, and I think we got 3 games in a row at home, right? Memphis is, of course, they're going to be another tough team. I no doubt about it. They have a dynamic point guard that we got to deal with. I don't remember what we did against them last season. I have to take a look.
I know what we need to do is trap.
Yeah. Yeah. And you see, he's towards the end of this game, we started trapping again. And, but I felt like, I'll tell you, before I even get to the schedule, I felt like in the fourth quarter, there was a point where to me, it seemed like they were confused on the defensive side. Right? There was a time when Elfrid Payton and R.J. Barrett, both of those guys, it was in the fourth quarter, they were figuring out who's supposed to go where, and they were running back and forth. Right? And I'm yelling. I'm like, yo, will y'all just grab somebody? What are you doing? Luckily, I think I think maybe we got a turnover. I don't remember. But they were confused a little bit about who's supposed to be where, what the rotation was. And then, of course, we have Reggie Bullock go over to try to trap Jason Tatum. And that was just a bad move. Like I said, it was 2 bad defensive moves at once. Reggie Bullock goes over to try to trap Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum tosses it over to Marcus Smart. And then R.J. Barrett, instead of coming and just closing out Marcus Smart and forcing that next pass, he takes a step, stops, and then goes back to whoever he was guarding. Both of those things right there, hurt. I mean, obviously Reggie Bullock's leaving your man to go double team the way that he did, I think hurt. And I think it was another time where they just weren't on the same page defensively, right? Because
not only that, I'm sorry.
Because I think if they were on the same page defensively, right, R.J. Barrett would have known, I gotta go close out this guy here because my guy is, my guy is going to be open, but somebody's going to close that guy out. So I don't think they were all on the same page defensively down the stretch. I don't think they were on the same page. Go ahead, Tony.
I was gonna say the same thing. That very same play, RJ started to come out at Smart and stopped and went back to his man. And I mean, even him just continuing to go at Smart may have distracted him. You know what I mean? But it was like a half hedge, and it was a worthless move basically. Like, he was in no man's land. It was no way he would have got back to his man if he passed it anyway. But yeah.
Right. But see, if he would have just went ahead and committed to the closeout instead of stopping and going back, if he would have committed to the closeout, then somebody would have helped out on his man when the ball got swung, and then and the rotation would have went. But I feel like they weren't on the same page defensively. Right, and maybe he didn't know that that Reggie Bullock was going to go trap, and so he wasn't clear that he needed to close all the way out. I feel like and I just seen a couple of times down the stretch where they weren't together and on the same page defensively. It didn't always hurt them until that one with Marcus Smart. One time with 2 seconds on the shot clock, Jaylen Brown is standing in the corner. And I'm yelling. I'm like, yo, he's over there by himself. For whatever reason, the Celtics didn't see him until the last minute. Then they threw it to him and he had to heave it up there. So a lot of things that I think that they've got to get together.
Sam, I wanna chime in for a second. Going back to that point of not having that intimidating that person that that we can look to intimidate players or at least keep them in check. And I've been, just trying to analyze what you guys are talking. Like, what is it that's going wrong, or what is it that's missing? And I don't think it's like the pay of Peyton. I don't think it's the play of Randle. I just think right now it just shows how much we miss a person like Mitchell Robinson, and how valuable he is to our team. The importance of him being the defensive backbone of the team, the intimidator of the team, being able to play perimeter defense when he has to in the pinch, being able to get those offensive rebounds, those alley-oops, which is basically been taken away from our offense. That's about 6 points that has been taken away from our offense. Right now, it's just coming to the light, for me at least, in my eyes, how important he is to this team, and the reason why we're basically unraveling right now. The first time he went down, this guy Noel, he played a great 2 weeks for us, and we were able to withstand his injury. But I guess now, seeing that he's going to be out for a longer period of time, and the injury is much more serious than the first time, I don't think Noel can do it again. And I mean, I think that's going to be the turning point of our season. In the second half, this time around, Mitchell Robinson missing in the middle.
Yeah. Let me get to a couple of these super chats here. And by the way, the phone lines are open, ladies and gentlemen. 516-405-2246. I understand you might not want to call in and talk about this team right now. You know what I mean? I get it. K. Walden, thank you for the super chat. He said the Knicks are full of journeyman players. By their very nature, they are going to be inconsistent. This is a mediocre team, folks. Face reality. I think we all know that it's a mediocre team. I mean, I think we've known that for a long time, that the team, I mean, they've been 500 for the entire year. So, I mean, we know that they're mediocre. I think a lot of the questions were, can they find a way? Can their chemistry get them over the top? Right? Can their chemistry help them to win some of these games? That was always the question. Can that happen? You know what I mean? They're a team that has, like you said, journeymen. And they're trying to find a way to put the pieces together. And we need certain people to play consistent every night, and we can't get that consistency out of them. Right? But this is the team that we have right now. I don't care about what talent is coming next year. I don't care about what talent is left. We got 20 games left to this season. This is the team we have now. I don't care about the talent on any other team. I only care about the talent on this team right now, and how do we use this talent to try to get over the hump and win in some of these basketball games. Skull 6 Trey said, D Rose is already 2 for 2 on buzzer beaters. Conversely, Randle is 0 for. D Rose hit some buzzer beaters this year to win the game for us? I mean, I don't remember D Rose hitting any buzzer beaters this year. He said Randle can't be taking another buzzer beater with D Rose on the court. I mean, listen. Randle, I don't know what his record is in making buzzer beaters or crunch time shots. I don't know what his percentage is in crunch time shots. It's not very good this year. You know what I mean? As far as D Rose being the guy to take it, you know what? If I'm not going to Randle, I'm going to RJ. I'm not going to D Rose. Sorry. D Rose, I like what he's helping to bring into the team. He's not that same D Rose. So I think if it's going to be someone other than Julius Randle, it should be RJ. And if it came down to the last second shot, and I was already thinking it, if it comes down to the last second shot, you got to go to RJ. Because there were a couple of times when I think it was the end of the second quarter, I was mad that Randle took that three. I'm like, yo, get the ball to RJ. He just knocked down 3 wide open threes in a row. Didn't get to that point. Richard Romanoff, thank you for the super chat. You said the Knicks need something, can't get nothing off at the end. pick up somebody. I think I understand what you're saying. I think I get what you're saying. Listen, the Knicks play, the Knicks play great defense. We know that. Of course, there are times, they make some mental mistakes out there. Okay. 3/4 of the way through the season, just 20 games left into the season, they still are holding teams to 33% shooting from the 3-point line. Of course, there are games where teams get hot. The problem that we have, I think, is the mental part. We make some mental mistakes in high pressure moments. In high pressure moments, no matter what it is, in any part of life, in high pressure moments, some people have the ability to think and make decisions. Some people struggle. And right now we're looking like a team that has people who struggle in those situations. And we got to find a way. I don't know how we get over that hump. Sometimes the way to get over that hump is to keep taking these lumps. Right? You get over that hump by keep taking a lump. You keep losing. You keep losing. You keep getting beat this way. You keep having a double-digit lead and losing, a big lead or a decent lead in the fourth quarter and losing. Eventually, you learn. I gotta, we gotta start taking care of this thing. You take care of business. Ishmael Reeves, you said, thank you for the super chat. You said, let's call a spade a spade. RJ was blatantly froze out in the third quarter. 6 for 6 from 3. This was, okay, I'm not even gonna read. This is a soft tank. We will be lucky to win 34 games. Sometimes people just don't follow basketball, though. Okay. Froze out in third. Caller, you live. What's popping?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? What's going on, fans?
What's going on with you, brother? How you feeling?
Chilling. Hey, this is my feeling about the Knicks right now.
All right.
We didn't do no moves in free agency, which I'm cool with. We didn't do any moves with buyouts, but get players we needed. Honestly, I think it's purely on the rotations. Like, we just have a predictable rotation. We're not getting guys involved that can be an effective part of the team. We got Knox who can knock down threes, but he doesn't get any looks, right? Or if these guys are situational, such as Ntilikina, why is he not playing against the Nets when we need that defense? So I don't understand the rotations he's doing, man. I think that's something that needs to be worked on.
But do you think? So you think with some different rotations, by playing Knox more, by playing Frank Ntilikina more, two players that have been sat by every coach that has coached the New York Knicks, you think we would have won more games with them?
This season, yeah. Honestly, even without those guys in the game, we could have won with the second unit playing more minutes. How much times had they first unit blew leads when we could have had the game?
Well, I think when you start to look at the second units, what you really have to do is look at who. You got to look at the lineups that's on the floor, right? Because let's just take tonight. You have the second unit out there, and there's a point in time when there's no starter on the floor. It's all subs, and other teams. And this is another thing that I wanted to bring up. When people talk about minute distribution, but I'll get to that in a second. Other teams, like tonight, they always had either Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown on the floor, but then the rest of the guys are, subs. Right? So you got your subs playing against other subs. Sometimes they have starters mixed in and things like that. But for the most part, you have subs playing against other second units. And they might look like, oh, wow, they scoring, they're doing this, they're doing that. But if you have that same unit, and we don't get a chance to see it, so I'm not going to say that this team wouldn't be successful. But if you have Emmanuel Quickley, Derrick Rose, Taj Gibson, Obi Toppin, and Alec Burks, right? And it's 2 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter, and they're going up against Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, the starting five of the Celtics. Yeah. Do you think we're having success with that group? And let me not even say that because maybe I'm stretching it. Yeah. Let's just say, it goes down to the third, 3 minutes left in the second quarter, right? And now you have our bench against their starters. Do you think our starters play as well and score as many points and do as well? I think that's the thing that, when people talk about the bench has to play longer, sometimes it's hard to say sometimes, because when a team bring their starters in, the question is, can our bench continue to play with the opposing team's starters? We haven't had a chance to really see it, so we don't have the answer to that.
No, I got you on that. I definitely think it's not in the fourth. I'm looking at the third quarter.
Okay.
Because it's like the first unit plays the whole third quarter mostly, and it's like the second unit plays good in the second quarter. I would just let the second unit go out to start, or at least have more minutes in the third. Because then the starters are going to get winded. In my opinion, it just looks like you could have the second unit play more minutes in the third.
Okay. I'm not going to argue with you, because when you look at the third quarter, Julius Randle played 12 minutes. RJ Barrett played 12 minutes. Reggie Bullock played 8 minutes and 23 seconds. Peyton played 8 minutes and 23 seconds. Nerlens Noel played 8 minutes and 23 seconds. So at that 8 minute and 23 second mark, they brought in Derrick Rose, Taj Gibson, and Alec Burks. That's who they brought in at that point. And then those guys, then Derrick Rose, Taj Gibson, Alec Burks, Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, they played until sometime into the fourth quarter. I think probably at the top of the fourth quarter, Obi came in for Julius Randle. That's the normal rotation, right? So in the fourth quarter, Obi Toppin came in for Julius Randle. He played for about 4 minutes in the fourth quarter. Quickly came in for probably, I don't know, RJ Barrett. He played 4 minutes. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. The thing is, are those guys going to be productive if they're playing more minutes? That's the question.
Gotcha.
I think that's the question. Because I think we all assume that just because those guys are on the floor, they're going to be more productive. I don't know if it's always the case, but
yeah. Right
now, though, we're in a situation where you probably got to try something. Maybe you need to shake something up. Right? You probably need to shake something up, because the team is missing that. It's just missing that oomph sometimes. So we'll see. Hey, I appreciate the call, man.
I think that's Randall when he comes back. So we'll see. Hopefully he gets healthy, man.
I hope so. I hope he had a bad shooting night tonight. Normally when he has a bad shooting night, he comes back and shoots well. We'll see.
All right, man.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it. Get you another call here. Caller, you live. What's popping?
Hey, family, Knicks family, how y'all doing?
I'm doing pretty good, my friend. How you feeling?
I'm good tonight. I'm good. I want to start off this conversation by saying I want the Knicks to make the playoffs. We all want the Knicks to make the playoffs. I don't, unless we get Cade Cunningham or Jalen Suggs.
Mm-hmm.
We need to, unless we get into them, the draft is basically a wash.
Okay.
But I feel like ever since Mitch went out, that lob threat has been non-existent.
Right. I agree.
Also, I felt like at times they need to run the offense through RJ.
I agree.
They gave, and then let's just go to the Celtics. They gave Tatum and Jalen time to develop and run the offense through them to see what they can and can't do. At this time, I felt like I didn't get to see the whole game, but I felt like RJ, it would have been one of these nights where he should have went for 40. Like, if you have somebody that's making shots and is into it, give him the ball. Let him do his thing. My last point is, I felt like D Rose is not the same D Rose. He's not Chicago D Rose. So he can't play 35 minutes a game. So you maybe have him for maybe 20 to 25 minutes a game. So you have to pick and choose your spots with him. And quickly is just, he's really a shooting guard in a point guard's body. So we have limitations on our bench maybe, like the other caller said, maybe giving Kevin Knox a little bit of time or Frank a little bit of time, even though we know their limitations. Maybe it'll light a fire under the other players.
That's true.
But you know what? Peace be out, and like let's make the playoffs, man. We need it.
We need it. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. We need it. I appreciate it. Appreciate the call, man. I mean, I do agree with him though. What do you think, Steph? I do agree with him that, you know, we need some kind of shake up to help wake the guys up. And sometimes that's what it takes. Just some kind of something. What do you think?
Mean shake up on this current roster?
Just on the roster. Not as far as like you know, you're gonna waive this player, but just like, you know what? We're gonna give Knox 15 minutes tonight. Just to see can he do something. You know, just that kind of a shake up.
You could do it that way. You can also change the starting lineup too to see if you can if that'll help, even though it does mess up the rotations. Not mess it up, but change the rotation some. What happens if you start Derrick Rose and bring Peyton off the bench? Let's try it. You know, if we bring Knox in, I guess that's for Obi's minutes. Let's try it. You know, yeah, let's try it. But listen, no matter what we do, it's still going to come down to, in a close game, can we make the shots we need to make, and can we make the plays we need to make?
Right.
When you look at our schedule, there's no gimmies, right? So whether Rose starts, whether we play Knox, at the end of the game, if it's close, we're going to have to execute both offensively and defensively. And that's been a challenge for us. But we're going to get a lot of experience over these next 20 games because we're going to be in those situations.
Right. You know, what do you think, Eddie? You know, what can we do? Or should he try to do something to shake it up? Or should he's been a guy that stayed the course the entire season. He stayed the course.
I don't think he's going to change. You know, he hasn't shown me any inclinations of changing. I guess he has a higher tolerance than we do, because we probably would have made a change already. You already said that you would have started Rose second quarter this game. You know, and he just doesn't show any inclinations of doing that. If you ask me, I think we should just put Randle at the 5 and see what we can do there, because, you know, our defense is fine. It's just that we get off to slow starts, and there's not much that we can do. I mean, we're really hamstrung to what we can do, and you know, plenty of people can make assumptions of what we should do. Or we should start Rose, or we should play Rose at the 2. I'm saying we should start Randle at the 5. You know what I'm saying? It's just right now. It's everything's in place. So. It's a tough question to answer.
Yeah. Tony, what do you think, man? A small shakeup to, and not even a shakeup to punish anyone, but a shakeup just to try to wake the team up a little bit.
Well, I'm in favor of giving Knox some minutes. I think I've made that clear over the last probably 2 months. But I really feel like the more logical move is seeing what Pell can give us and letting Taj play some minutes at the 4, and you know, letting that be the relief for Julius. I think that might work, because it kind of increases our defense. It does put a little bit more pressure on our second unit to score from Rose and quickly, but I think if anything, the pressure really goes for Rose to become more of a facilitator. So if he could do that, I think that works with the second unit, because now you got, you know what you're gonna get from Burks most of the time. Quickly gets his rhythm back, and then Rose can find the 2 bigs, Pell and Taj. And Taj could do a little bit more stuff. I mean, he's gonna produce a little bit more than Obi. You know what I mean? And he's offensively, and he's definitely gonna produce more defensively.
Right.
So you know, you don't really lose anything.
And and quickly is another one. He hasn't been playing, you know, really well lately, at least offensively. I thought he played very well defensively today, though. I was watching him, and he was playing, you know, he was playing some defense out there. Yeah, I think he got beat once by Pritchard, but even on that play, I thought he played good defense. So I do think he's playing good defense. Offensively, I think teams have figured out what he does. You know, they understand everything that he wants to do, and they're able to defend it easy enough. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, he's gonna have to figure out, okay, how do I counter? You know, they know he wants to float it up. They figured out how to defend it. Now he's got to figure out how to counter it. You know, now he's knocked down a couple of threes, but he's got to figure out, how do I counter these teams stopping me from getting in the lane and being able to float it up. It's probably not going to come now. It's probably going to come in the off season. You know, so it's not something that, you know, we should be looking for from him right now. I do want to take a moment and take a listen to Coach Thibs. Very interested to hear what he has to say about tonight. You know, I'm looking at his face, and he doesn't look happy at all. You know, so let's take a listen to Coach Thibs on tonight's game, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Tom, I know we've been asking a lot about these late game losses. What did you see here? And is this part of the trend that's been happening with this team?
I don't know if it's part of the trend. You know, usually you can figure out why you either win or lose. So it was a hard-fought game, and we felt one of the big keys would be rebounding, and obviously that hurt us.
Ian Bagley.
When Marcus Smart hits a three late, and I think Reggie came over on Jason Tatum. Was the plan going in to double Tatum?
Well, anytime you commit to putting two on the ball, you got to understand what you're willing. You're going to be vulnerable in another area, but you don't want to give up any open shots. And so they have two dynamic scorers in Tatum and Brown. And when Kemba plays, they have a third. And so you go in with your game plan, and you know that particularly in the fourth quarter, you have to be committed to putting two on to them. So that's part of it.
Steve Popper.
Hey, Tom, in the first half, looked like they were killing you guys on the offensive glass. I think 18 second chance points. Just what was the issue there? Was it their size? What was it?
Well, they started small, you know, but their quickness to the ball. And then we knew with Thompson coming back that would be a factor as well. And so, you know, you got to finish your defense. I thought the initial part of the defense was pretty good. But, you obviously have to challenge the shot, and then you got to get to a body, and then you got to pursue the ball. And so finishing our defense is something that, you know, we have to get back to. And we've been a good rebounding team the whole year. So we got to get back to it.
Mike Vaccaro.
Tom, when you're trying to build a winning narrative, is learning how to win games like this kind of the last part of the process in terms of going from, non-competitive to competitive to losing close games to maybe winning these?
Yeah. Every day you're working on building winning habits, and we thought that was one of our goals at the beginning of the season, just do the right things and stay and understand what goes into winning, and then also to analyze and learn. And so you want to learn from each game, and hopefully you're not repeating the same mistakes over and over again. You have to learn, and also to understand where we are in the season, and you're facing teams every night. Someone's playing for something. They're fighting for something. So the intensity gets ratcheted up now. So we have to understand that and we have to respond well, and I'm sure we will.
Jonathan Macri.
Hey, Coach. Obviously, disappointing night, but a really good one for R.J. Barrett. 6 for 6 from behind the line. What did you see from him tonight, and where do you see him fitting in as the rest of the season goes along?
I think he's been steady all season long in terms of his overall growth and development. So he's had a really good season. His shooting's vastly improved. His floor game, he's making good reads. He's doing a lot of good things out there, and there's still a lot of room for growth, and there's a lot more work that needs to go into it. But I liked his attitude and approach from the summer, and he's continued that throughout the season. So we need everyone to continue to work and develop and get better.
Mark Berman.
Yeah, I was going to ask more about RJ. I mean, he's perfect from the three-point line. Last season, he really struggled. I mean, is it pretty stark how much more confidence he has from there?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm surprised, because I think I mentioned to this two guys earlier. I see the time that he's put into it. When we've been home, he usually comes in every night to shoot and get extra shooting in. He's really worked hard at grooving his shot, and I think he's gotten real comfortable behind the line. And I also think his teammates are also doing a good job looking for him. And there's been a lot of good rim reads and a lot of spray outs, and they're good rhythm threes. We just don't want to take any three. We want to make sure that they're good threes, where it allows us to also get back and get our defense set. So there's a combination of the two things. But I'm very pleased with his overall progress, and I think he'll continue to grow.
Steve Popper.
Hey, Tom, just one more thing on RJ. For what you're seeing from him as a guy who's never been through this before, for a 20-year-old, just mentally, what do you see from him in these kind of games, tight situations?
Well, I think he learns from each situation. I think, a big part of learning is trial and error. I think his preparation has been very good. He watches a lot of film. He's watching film of his opponents. He's watching film after each game. He's studying. He's getting ready. He's putting a lot of extra work in. So I think when you do those things, you'll improve. And he's a terrific worker. But it's been really his attitude and his approach that I think is given him a lot of confidence. Your confidence comes from your preparation. We always say the magic is in the work, and that's the truth. So the harder we work, the more confident you become.
Anything that you heard there that you want to comment on?
I'll tell you one thing, it is encouraging to hear the way he speaks about RJ. So I don't think he's far removed from maybe being relied upon a little bit more.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah. Steph?
Yeah. Well, he said, what we've been talking about, heading down the stretch of the season, teams are ratcheting it up, in terms of their intensity, because they're fighting for something. And we have to be ready to not just match that, but exceed it if we're going to win these games and get into the playoffs.
Yeah. Eddie, any response or thoughts to what Tom Thibodeau just said?
What I just got a sense from was that the things that made us lose these couple of games are things that can get cleaned up. And, things that I guess if they had a little bit more practice time, they can get better at. So, that gave me a little bit of hope. I know Memphis is going to be a tough team coming back from a long road trip. Usually the team that comes back home from the road trip doesn't have their best game. But after that point, maybe that's the hump. Memphis will be the hump that we have to get through to start back to our winning ways.
Yeah.
They killed Atlanta tonight.
They did. They killed Atlanta. They smacked Atlanta tonight. What they beat, a 131 to something.
Yeah.
131 to 113. They smacked Atlanta tonight. They're 26-23 on the season. Right now in the Western Conference, they're in the 8th seed in the Western Conference. They've won 4 in a row. So they're, they're playing good basketball right now. We've lost, what have we lost? 2 in a row. We've lost 4 of the last 10. I'm sorry, we've lost 6 of the last 10. We're 4-6 in the last 10. 2 games below 500. We'll see what that's going to look like. Memphis is coming to the Garden. So we're about to be on a 3-game homestand. Listen, we desperately need to get this win because Indiana, they're 23-27. They're just 1 game behind us for that 9th seed. If we lose against Memphis, now we're 25-28. And I'm not sure when Indiana plays, but, now we're really slipping. You know what I'm saying? Now we're really slipping. So, another big one, another important one. And I got a feeling this one's going to go down to the wire as well. And we'll see if we can pull this one out, ladies and gentlemen. I do want to make sure that you guys remember next Friday, 5 p.m., Steph's show, The Queen's Court, is going to debut. It's going to debut, ladies and gentlemen. And here is the logo. All right, that is the Queen's Court logo. Please drop some feedback in the chat. Tell us what you think about that logo and make sure you're there next Friday at 5 p.m. Tomorrow, I will be dropping the link so that you guys can set your reminders to be there next Friday. All right. The Queen's Court. Anything you want to say about that, Steph, before we head up out of here?
I'm excited. It's finally getting off the ground. Thanks to you and the work you putting in behind the scenes. So next Friday, 5 o'clock. Let's get it. Let's ready.
Get it. I'm excited for it. Man. Eddie, any last words for us tonight?
It's just disappointing that we couldn't pull through this. I think this was a winnable game for us. I really didn't see anything Boston had that could merit them beating us today. But again, we just couldn't pull through, and it's just the growing pains that you must go through to become a good team. The last time it's gonna happen. It's gonna be happening for the rest of the year, being our first year in rebuilding. But at least next year, I think we're going to be learning from this, and next year we're going to be pulling out some more of those close games. Just reap the benefits of what's happening right now. But first, comes the pain. So that's what I got to say.
That's it.
Yeah.
Tony?
Congratulations to the Queen. I'll be looking forward to the show. As always, man, shout out to the chat. Shout out to the panel. Yo, Black is time. Sim, keep doing your thing.
No doubt. And I've seen some people asking, so the show is going to be right here on NBK. So, you don't have to go out to another channel just yet. The show is going to be right here on NBK, so you'll get the notification right here. All right? So make sure you check it out next Friday at 5 p.m. It's going to be all ladies on the panel. So, fellas, mind your manners. We expect respect. All right? Queen's Court, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you all. The Knicks take a tough loss tonight. The mood is a little bit somber, but I feel they can come back. They've been fighting back all season long. They got to continue to fight back, ladies and gentlemen. They've been doing it all season long. We'll see if they can continue to fight back. Tomorrow, 12:30, the shoot around. We're going to break down the last 20 games of the season, the Knicks playoff run, or playoff stretch, the playoff stretch of the season, and what we need to do to be successful, what we need to do to win and get into the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. So please make sure you smash that like button right now. Subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed, ring that notification bell so you'll be notified anytime we go live, drop a video, or post to my community section, ladies and gentlemen. Check me out tomorrow, 12:30. It's going to be a nice talk, nice breakdown. out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Be peaceful, spread love, and all of that. And remember, next Friday, 5 p.m., the Queen's Court. We on it.